there's nothing quite like using gun control logic against gun control. Except maybe not having the gun control to begin with, but I suppose we'll take what we can get. Alright gang, so it turns out that the ATF's pistol brace rule has another interesting twist to it. I know, it's hard to keep track. Yes, it's already subject to a handful of lawsuits and big issues, but now it's also being used as a legal challenge to Connecticut's assault weapons ban, which is a development that I did not see coming. The case is pretty ingenious, actually, because it turns out that the state's assault weapons ban doesn't allow state residents to comply with the pistol brace rule under ATF parameters. In fact, while the rest of the country, or at least most of it, technically get the privilege of registering their braced pistols with the ATF or switching out these short barrels for longer ones in order to avoid becoming a felon, the ATF says that they can't accept any registration requests from Connecticut residents, and the residents can't switch out the barrels because that action would put them on the wrong side of the assault weapons ban. So here these folks are, having gone through all the state hoops to get specially licensed for these guns. Well, the folks who did do the hoops, I should say, as there was mass non-compliance, but nevertheless, they are now back to square one with all of their paperwork, fees, and whatever else meaningless.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't. No.
The Connecticut Citizens Defense League explains, while the residents of other states are able to register these firearms with the ATF or change these short barrels for longer ones to make them legal, the ATF has stated that it will not permit any such registrations from Connecticut residents due to Connecticut's assault weapon ban. Nor will changing out the barrels avoid redesignation as banned assault weapons under Connecticut law. As such, many thousands of Connecticut residents who were previously authorized by the Connecticut State Police's Special Licensing and Firearms Unit to purchase these firearms find themselves without the legal options had by residents of most other states. The ban was first challenged by the CCDL, SAF, and several gun owners last fall, but the case has a new sense of urgency with the brace deadline looming. More from the CCDL. These three plaintiffs, along with tens of thousands of other good, law-abiding Connecticut residents, suddenly find themselves facing possible felony charges, all of which could have disastrous implications for them, their families, their careers, and their standing in the community. Until Tuesday, the firearms at issue were entirely lawful, owned by people who may now face detrimental personal damage due to state laws that are not only unclear and virtually impossible to comply with, but also in blatant and direct violation of the Connecticut and U.S. constitutions. As such, we are imploring the federal court to step in to protect these otherwise lawful gun owners from being arrested under the new application of Connecticut's egregious ban on so-called assault weapons, which are simply commonly owned modern sporting arms. It will be interesting to see the judgment on this, as the brace rule and gun ban are at such an odds and put a lot of people in an impossible position. It really leaves people the only legal option of destroying their guns or turning them in, but that could run afoul of previous rulings that you can't just demand someone turn in or dispose of their property without compensation, especially if that's the only option. Not to mention, again, the extra time, effort, and money used to comply with the state rules, only to have that stripped by an edict that technically isn't even a real law, but is being treated as such with the full weight of the federal government behind it. I will certainly try to keep you guys up to date with any new info about this case, especially because if the ruling comes down against the state ban, that could have some very interesting consequences for assault weapons bans in other states. That's it for this video, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe if you're new here. Drop a comment down for the algorithm powers that be, and if you hate the ATF. And as always, thanks for tuning in, and happy shooting.